See. We are live. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to HoDiGa's Tarot. Of course, who do we have with us today? We have Lady G, of course, who's going to be sharing some very interesting things. And of course, we have Dianne from Dianne's Tarot. And I am, of course, Hogarth Brown. Because someone reminded me, I forget to say my own name on the show.
And I'm just here.
Exactly. I'm just this random person who's turned up. Right. So we've got lots to cover in the show. And as usual, folks, the ladies don't know what questions I'm going to ask, but there will be some Shakespeare says, and there's going to be some one-card pulls, of course. Now, we were just having a very juicy chat backstage. And I just said, ladies, would you mind discussing some of these things? So we wanted to, well, what I want to do particularly as well with this channel as well is to give people insight into how these energies can play out. So Dianne and Lady G were just talking about what happens when you channel people from particularly like historical figures or angels or beings. And so, Lady G, if you'd like to start first, because you're in the middle square today. You know, it depends on how I click the thing. So she's in the middle square. Please share with the audience some of the things that's been happening as you've channeled. Did you say Mother Teresa? And please let us know some of the people who've been channeling and what's been happening for you.
King Henry VIII, Richard Burton, Elizabeth Taylor, Anne Boleyn, Robin Williams. There's been quite a few of them. There's a big list of them that have come through. And what has been happening, that's why I wanted to ask Dianne about it, because what's happening is if they're coming through really, really strong, I mean, their persona is coming through. What happens is my audio and visual aren't linking up. And the minute that energy is cut, the rest of the video is quite fine. You see me talking and looks normal. But during the channeling part where it's really, really strong, the audio and visual are out of sync. It looks like a bad kung fu movie with bad dubbing. The movements will be like this.
Wow.
It's just, yeah. But you can hear it. The audio is fine. Everything comes through. But it just you can't watch it. It's not linking up.
Extraordinary. And Dianne, you've got some stories as well. What happens when you start channeling? And just give us some of these things, these strange things that happen for you when you're there. What happens?
Well, I've had to stop using Wi-Fi, so now I connect my iPhone right into my router, and I did get fiber optic for this reason. Because spirit will interfere with your technology, and it will literally just cut the video, or it'll cut out the audio, or worse yet, if the entity, because I do mostly like 6th density entities, like the angels and the Ra, if they come through very strongly, or if they have some strong emotions that come through, they blow all the electricity in my house.
Wow.
I mean, the worst one, and I'll share the story with you. I was doing a private channeling with the Ra for a client, and she had really been mistreated by another reader. She was told terrible things, like really unrealistic, unbelievable type terrible things. And she was asking the Ra about this. And the Ra actually got so upset. Now, I'm in a 17-room house. My brother's on the other side of the house, mind you. I'm all the way over here upstairs. He's downstairs on the other side. It blew all of our lights. It blew his remote control. I mean, put that into perspective, okay? That's how much, when you're channeling, this energy comes through, and they can interfere with technology. Wow. And I think the Ra was so just taken aback by what this person was saying. It just came down, it just came crashing down, and everything was, I mean, I lost my lighting here, but even my brother's remote control went at that moment.
God.
And the poor thing, he's calling up the cable company. He has no idea what I'm doing, so he's calling up the cable company trying to figure out what's going on because, the TV's not working, the remote's dead. And
Wow. Wow. I mean, that's remarkable. I mean, I have some little things as well, because as you know, my thing is planets and stuff like that. And there have been many times where I do consultations and stuff, and planets will come through with messages, direct messages. Sometimes they even apologize. Like one time I was looking at this lady's chart, and there was a lot of stuff going on with Neptune, and the energy of Neptune came through to apologize for giving her such bad husbands. Some terrible husbands.
I love it.
Just wishy-washy. I mean, they're all talented and creative, but they just weren't there. It was all of this kind of stuff. But there was one time where this lady, she had Uranus very strong in her chart, and Uranus is like electrical energy, and it kept on breaking the Zoom recording and messing up with sound. Yeah. Everything like that. And I'm like, there's nothing I can do. He's just coming through. The energy's coming through. And there you are. Fascinating. And we have more folks. So what I'll do is I'm just going to do a few readouts. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. We really appreciate the support of the channel. We have Annalie Finch. We've got Mercury Angel, Jenny W., Sharon Saipi, of course. Who else do we have? Katie Arbuckle. We have, I'm scrolling down, Giacanda Thomas, Spirits Beyond the Stars. She's saying salutations, beautiful people. Let's just see if that comment will click up. Sometimes when it's three of us here, it takes a little while for the blurb. There we are. Finally, it showed up there. And there's many more of you. And we've got Surf Mom and Spirits Beyond the Stars and many more. Right. So as usual, the ladies don't know the questions that I'm going to read them. So let's just start off. We're going to go in deep here. We're going to start controversial on this one. It's an American one. One that, because I like a little bit of controversy now and again. I don't think it's, well, we'll see. Now, American scenario. And this question
already.
Yeah. Well, this is interesting. So this is coming from Melody Lemonade, and what she's asked is, what are the motives of the NRA? Not a question that often comes up, and I was just like, you know what? I'm just curious for that one. It's probably not going to be good energy, and let's see what Shakespeare has to say about them as well, but I just thought I would ask. Which is the National Rifles Association, if I believe correctly, yeah?
Yes.
What's the energy? Oh, wow. Okay, that just leapt out. The NRA. Let me just move my book over here.
The cards are certainly interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah, I had a jumper. Literally one just leaped out.
Not surprised. My first card is the Star, which is one of my cards for the U.S. So, obviously part of their agenda is to manipulate the U.S. I mean, they lobby like heck, in Washington. But look at who their obstacle is.
Oh,
I got Biden too.
You got Biden too.
Did you? Wow.
So we both got it. So there's some synchronicity there. And then of course, we get the card of greed, sin, devilish things, fiendish things. But they've also been coming under fire. They're not as successful as they once were. They've lost a lot of support. And so they're at a crossroads. They're trying to figure things out. They're really fighting. They're trying to persevere, but they're not getting the support that they used to get. And they're in for a drastic change. One where they're no longer the happy merchants, if it's upright, it's great, but they're not as happy. That's, I mean, they're losing their power basically, and they're in for a ruthless battle. And I think that battle is to try to stay in power and try to get their legislation passed basically. But yeah, it's interesting though that we both got the Biden card. That he's an issue for them.
Nah. Lady G, what do you have for us?
Well, underneath of it all, it's about manipulating things as usual, trying to get away with stuff. They're really unhappy because of the Biden administration. Okay. So, gee, what a surprise, huh? In the center of it, they're doing all they can to hold on. Above it, they're wanting that power, and beneath of it, control, trying to put that through. With them, it's a lot about money too, the prosperity, and again, trying to manipulate America. This is my card for the U.S. Our things, but things are kind of coming to an end with so many of these mass shootings and stuff that's happened with it. You know, so they're trying to garner some sort of new support somewhere of monetary, but yeah, no, they're on the decline.
Wow, gosh, fascinating, and you'll be interested to see what some of the cards that I got as well. I just want to give a quick shout out as well to Edie. So Edie's in London. So Edie and I are spending some time in London before we go off on some adventures. Our travels going to be going off to oh gosh, where are we going? Spain and Portugal, and then I'm going to Italy and all that kind of stuff. So shout out to Edie. It was great hanging out today, and we'll hang out some more tomorrow. What else was I going to say? It's gone out. Oh, and one thing that some people mentioned, they said when we hold up the cards, if we could just say what the card is as well, because apparently quite a lot of people listen to us when they're driving, or they may not be watching. So just, you know, just if we just say the card as well. So that was just some feedback that I got from a few followers. So, you know, not a criticism, but, you know, obviously because we know what it means, but just in case they're not watching. Well, look at this. Look at the card I get. Isn't that funny? Yeah, that's the first one that dropped out there. So look, this is them in a way. It's almost like it's like symbolizes them. It like this is it's so funny, isn't it? Because wands are what? Fire. So here we are, Knight of Wands, leaping, raring, and this in a way can be like the NRA, isn't it? Gun toting, but you know, going forward with passion, with their agenda, etc. All of that stuff. At least in the past, when we look at the obstacle. We've got here the Four of Cups, and they're like, they're not really liking the options on the table because, of course, the both of you picked up Biden, and Biden wants to change the rules. So they're looking at this, and they're not liking any of the offers that they have because it's, you know, it's probably not going to be good for them. And then the next card they get is the Hermit. So this is almost like going into retreat, like he was saying, that they're maybe not quite as powerful and as popular as they were before. This can also suggest that they're going into retreat, maybe to try and, you know, come up with a new plan, to reassess things. This is very much the card of study and research and reflection. I would say this is more reflection. And then when we look here, the Five of Cups, we can see the sorrow, the disappointment. So it could be that maybe, just like you said, Biden passes some rules where, you know, I mean, they're still going to be making lots of money, but this, it's almost like an addiction, isn't it? That needs to be weaned off in a way. This guns culture, it needs to stop. And then the outcome card they get is the Seven of Cups, which is again, so they've not been realistic. They've been, I mean, I think in some ways, and maybe this is for me from the outside looking in, but as a British person, or shall we say countries that don't have many guns, it does seem like madness to us. Do you know what I mean? Now, there was one person when we were talking about guns before, and they said I was being smug. They shall not be named. But anyway, because we were talking about the gun situation, I know, whatever, people do get triggered. But for me, from the outside looking in, this in many ways for me represents the policy around guns. It just seems it just doesn't seem to make sense. So when we get school shootings, what do they say? Well, it wouldn't have happened if all the teachers were armed. It wouldn't have happened if such and such. It wouldn't have happened. So it's like, well, why doesn't absolutely everyone go into school then with a gun, you know, and people accidentally shooting their toes off as they go and, you know, collect their breakfast lunch? Do you know what I mean? For me, there's been a lot of fog, illusions, delusions around this. Like you said the other day, what was it, 120 mass shootings at that point since the start of the year. Surely people can begin to see that it's cray, isn't it? It's cray. So
yeah, there was another shooting again today, and then the New York subway.
Right.
They had that just, what was it, yesterday or the day before, something like that.
And those are the ones we're talking about, you know.
Yeah.
There's most of them we don't talk about.
Exactly.
You
But
know,
there was another one today. Something, I don't know how many were shot, and you know, every day something.
you know, and the problem is when they wrote these laws way back in the 1700s, you know, it was to protect us from the British. But we have to remember those guns at best could do, if you were highly skilled, right? If you were highly skilled, 3 bullets a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, you were called a Minuteman, right? Because my ancestors did fight in the American Revolution.
That's with
Okay.
A Minuteman.
So, right. You know, and we did have those sort of guns in the house. I mean, because the house is from the 1700s. We had ancestors in the American Revolutionary War. And so the laws were written, first of all, because we had people on our, you know, our turf rather, literally, you know, coming into our homes. Like I said, my house is built to keep the British out. You know, there's panels that come out of the wall so you can hide the boys and hide the food and all that stuff. But
you need to do a video on your house at some point, Diane. You know that. Did you hear what she said, folks? She said there are trapdoors in walls, false walls, so then you can quickly, some child hiding there with the bread. Because
they would take all the boys, right? The English would come and take the boys. And they'd also take all your food. And that was one of the bigger problems, too, even if you didn't have any boys for them to take. But, I mean, as young as 7 or 8, they would start taking them. But, you know, these laws were written for these guns that weren't very efficient. And, you know, now that we have these guns that can shoot how many per minute?
Oh,
you know,
hundreds.
Right.
Semi-automatic weapons on sale in Walmart. Or,
you know, and we never updated the laws.
Yeah. You know what? You're absolutely right. Because remember, they used to have to stuff the bullet in and all of that kind of stuff. And you're right. And we're not saying, just in case people get triggered, as I'm sure. Now, look, of course, I'm not an American, so, you know, I'm probably have a bit more leeway if it comes to bloopers. But we're not saying do away with people's guns, etc., and blah, blah, blah. I don't think that's what we're talking about. We're talking about some kind of sensible thing, because how is it acceptable that there can be that many mass shootings till this day and still nothing be done about it? So I found it quite interesting that 7 of Cups card really is showing that the thing isn't all there. Let's do a few shout outs. So we have Octavia Shirley. We have Connie B. So Tuscan. Connie B saying hello from Tuscan. What is that? Is in Tucson. Sorry, Arizona. Oh, okay. To be 96 this week. Oh my goodness.
Arizona's hot.
Arizona gets really.
Oh, sorry. Forgive me. Lost in translation. No, I thought she was saying she was 96 years old.
No, it actually gets that hot in Tucson.
I just realized. 96. Sorry. I realized it was temperature now. We've got as well Snowf Mom, which I was saying before, Connie B, and Arm 747. No rain in St. Louis all day today, I hope. So we're just getting some little weather postings. Okay, are we ready for the next question, ladies?
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Okay. Quite interesting though, isn't it? The NRA thing. Quite very interesting cards.
Our cards were all in sync.
Yeah, all in sync. Very, very interesting. Okay, so this question has come in from Ruth Goldberg. And she said, assuming Zelenskyy survives the war, what will his role be? So that's the main question, which I think is an interesting one. And then we can do a one-card pull, because Sarah S. has said, will Zelenskyy inspire people to demand more from their leaders or vote for leaders with similar traits? So we can take that as a main question. Assuming Zelenskyy survives the war,
Yeah.
what will his role be? And then we do a one-card pull on the next.
Oh, wow. So, I mean, my cards are great for this.
Oh, sugar, what have I done? I think I put them all upside down. Oh.
So, I start off with King of Wands. So to lead with passion and, you know, enthusiasm, to not just be another dullard in politics, you know, but to actually be really passionate about what you're doing. And I think that's how he's going to, because he is. I mean, look at it. First of all, look, I mean, he is passionate. And so I think that's,
absolutely,
you know, a great example for others. And this is the King of Wands. No more, I think, will the Knight of Pentacles be the obstacle where things are just slow moving. We're not getting money to where it needs to go. He will help facilitate, you know, some of these sort of things where, you know, money goes where it needs to go, and it needs to go there in a certain efficient manner, because we're seeing how that's not really happening. And then I love this, 6 of Pentacles, you know, giving money to those who need it, balancing money, making things balanced and fair and ethical and that sort of thing. And then look at this, balancing money overseas. So reaching, you know, further out, reaching to other countries, trying to balance the way we dole out money, you know, through NATO, through UN, through all these other, you know. But also, too, maybe actually passing some laws. He gets the Judgment card. Maybe getting some new rules, new regulations, new laws, new ways of doing things passed so that we are running the world more efficiently. That's what I thought.
That makes sense. So I'm just reshuffling my cards because I kind of was showing off my card skills on camera, but I created a whole pile of reversals which shouldn't have been there.
That happens.
Lady G, what did you get?
Well, I get the 10 of Pentacles, you know, and I think this just has to do with the families and stuff, with moving forward with a brighter thing. And they see him above as a good leader, somebody that you can look to, that's got, you know, that's got the qualifications. He's proven himself. We have the wish fulfilling card, the Merchant, you know, again, and going into it, we have the card of Victory. So the challenge is to get the economy back, get back flush again. But they see that he knows how to use the tools. We have the Magician. He knows how to make it happen. And I think the last card, we've got with the, I am on blank here at the moment, but I think that this has to do with the world seeing him, you know, in a good position, that the way he's done all of the things that he's done, that the world is respecting him. So I think that he's going to continue as a leader for his country. And again, try to get them back flush again.
Yeah, that makes sense. One of the things that while you were both presenting, that came into my world, because when we think of Zelenskyy, like in terms of, look, if we think of just how many parliaments around the world and democracies he's addressed, I think it's been so many. And he's there, and he's using, of course, his oratory skills, his acting skills. And I think one of the things, not that he's acting, he's just being like authentic, like someone interviewed him the other day, but that training really does help you, really does help you in terms of delivering a message. But I think what's happened is that by him being so strong now, of course, when you look at his chart from the Vedic astrology, his ascendant is actually a Taurus earth sign, and his sun goes from Aquarius back into Capricorn. So he's got a Taurus ascendant, which is all about the earth, stability. Capricorn is about government, ambition, but it's an earth sign, standing your ground. And then his moon is in Cancer. He's actually, sidereally, it's in Cancer. So the moon is in its own sign. So he's this extremely sort of like strong person, almost quite stubborn in a way, but he has this intuition, this watery, intuitive and feminine side to himself that he can tap into readily. And one interviewer the other day was saying that he has become the zeitgeist of Ukraine. And I think what's happened is leaders that are in his presence, I think they feel humbled because they're like, wow, that's what a real leader is. And, because he's there in the bunkers, he's not having silly parties or, just thinking like, oh, how much can I line my pockets? I think he's, by the force of him being himself, I think he's humbled a lot of leaders around the world. So here, now the cards the correct way up. Look, we know this. He has come into his manifest destiny. Yeah. This is not how he would have wanted things, but when I look at his chart, this is what's happened. This pressure, he's got this Saturnian pressure in Leo, which can make one feel like an imposter. But what it's done is Putin, in trying to eradicate Zelenskyy, has turned him into a king and brought about this manifest destiny. When we look what is in the opposition, look, he's dealing with a cruel man. Yeah. Even though this is the right way up, it's come in the obstacle position. So as you would say, Diane, we can imagine it reversed. And if it is reversed, the King of Swords reversed deals with a sadistic, cruel man. Yeah. Ooh, I wonder who could that be in this context. And I think what's happened here, and particularly as well for this cruel man, things have really moved forward. Hasn't it been interesting? Putin has been totally caught on the hop by the sheer speed of the advance. So this is the Chariot here. So I forgot to say, so I held up the first card was the Wheel of Fortune, second card, King of Swords, and here is the Chariot. So that's two major arcana out of a 5-card pool. So the whole world has essentially got with him, and he's got lots of support. Everything's rushing forward. But then there's also this quality as well. And do you remember, I think when I pulled on Zelenskyy a little while ago, and people were saying, is he going to move? And the Pentacles card came out, and I said, he's not going anywhere. Yeah. He's not going anywhere. This is an Earth card. He is a Taurus ascendant and a Capricorn sun. The Pentacles are what? Earth. He's going to stand there until the end, until it is time to celebrate. So, I mean, we know a lot of stuff can happen. We don't know, Putin, as we know, is when I was tuning in with the planets, Pluto was just like, literally, even Pluto was just like, he's just beyond. And we want to hope. We know that there's been a pause, hasn't there? There's been a pause, and I said something will come to an end. They've given up on Kiev. I don't think they've given up the war just yet, but they've just had their ship sunk. Right. Do you know what I mean? Apparently the weather is getting involved, slowing their advance. It's just getting more and more difficult. So we'll have to see. Anything else to add to that, ladies, before the next question? No? No. Perfect. Let's just do a few shout outs as well. So we've got Grand Madame Tarot. Hello. Light Vocation. She's saying it there. Hello, Light Vocation. I just click up. She's saying hello, HoDiGa. Oh, we've just hit 800. Oh, my goodness. Yes. And there's many more of you. Gertrude Hill.
Gertrude. Gertrude, hi.
Oh, sorry. Hi. Sorry. It's been a long day. So let's go for the next one. Let me just kind of cross off what I've done so far. So we've done NRA. We've done we're supposed to do the 1-card pulls. That's it. So will Zelenskyy inspire people to demand more from their leaders, or will we be selecting leaders of the same ilk? So, will we basically select better leaders? Let's see.
Okay.
All the cards are jumping. Gosh. Because of the inspiration of Zelenskyy. Okay, what do you have?
All right. So I get Page of Swords. Like people that are willing to forge their own path, make their own way, go on their own adventures, but also speak the truth. Here he is holding the sword of truth. People that are maybe held to a higher standard, people that are fair and balanced, moral and ethical. So yeah, I think, only good things will come out of this.
Lady G.
Well, I've got, things that are kind of hidden. Now, when I get this in this one, I think it's going to higher realms, things coming through that maybe we're not so privy to.
And look at the card I got. The Wheel of Fortune. Again.
There you go.
So I guess this with Ukraine and with Zelenskyy and his influence, it seems to be creating this kind of sea change where people have been able to see maybe at last what courage can look like in a leader. So this could be, maybe could Ukraine, the situation be almost like the turning of the wheel, making people wake up and realize about certain things, certain standards. So it looks like, and just, tying it all together, Dianne got, the Page of Swords. So wanting higher standards. And of course, Lady G, you got the, the High Priestess. Wanting to channel something higher, and then this is becoming a movement, some kind of fate and destiny, maybe by the Wheel of Fortune. Wow, very interesting. Okay, are we ready for the next question?
Yes.
So this is coming from Bernie Nickel. What's happening? What's happening in Shanghai with 25 million people in lockdown, starving?
Gosh, such a heavy energy.
So allow me to digress with a little bit of astrological weather. As you know, all us astrologers are talking about the Pluto return, aren't we? But the most important thing is that Pluto, basically just a few days before January 6th, so on the 1st of January 2021, Pluto moved into sidereal Capricorn, which is government, rules, regulations. But Pluto can be very extreme and very dark. And when it's with Saturn, you can get draconian, extreme restrictions and lockdowns. So I just thought I wanted to say that. Oh, gosh, the cards are jumping. Who's ready to go?
I can go. No surprise. My first card is the Five of Pentacles, the poverty card. Looking at my cards, I really wasn't thinking about the money aspect when I was seeing all of that in Shanghai. I was looking at more of like that just human suffering, like they weren't getting food and medicine and they've taken all their pets and, all this horribleness. So this is having like a real devastating effect on these people in every sense of the word, their health, their well-being, their finances. Their obstacle, Nine of Pentacles, this is a card of independence. So they've had their independence taken away. It's a card of financial affluence. They're hurting. They don't like the choices in front of them, but how could they? They really only have, here's the Four of Cups. So, they're stuck inside. They can be stuck inside, or I guess maybe come out and have horrible things happen to them. 10 of Pentacles, yes, it's affecting money. It's affecting families. It's affecting even the pets. This is just awful. And I think there's a lot of truth that we're going to be finding out. as bad as it is, like that we're hearing, I think there's more. I think there's going to be stories coming out later that are just going to be devastating.
Part of it, they're dragging people out of their apartments and making
Yes.
COVID, to lock people up. Where are these people going that they're throwing out of their houses?
And then they're taking some people and locking them in like these big buildings that are quarantining them, but they've been under quarantine for like 3 weeks, just sitting there without anything. And it's terrifying.
It's
absolutely terrifying. And did you see as well when one of those officials murdered someone's dog?
Well, they're taking out the pets, and yes, they're euthanizing them.
Yeah, smashed the dog with a spade.
Yeah,
caught
they're
on
killing
camera.
all the pets.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Because they thought the dog was going to spread COVID to everyone.
Right.
I mean, that's hysteria. That is absolute hysteria. But wow, Lady G, what do you have for us?
Well, they're trying to find some way, opportunity forward. They need food, they need stuff, but it's not happening. Above it, we've got to, this going forward with this energy. And I think this could be the government's kind of crackdown that they have, because underneath of it, we have that walking away. I think government is emotionally walking away from this. They're not looking at the people, and the people going into it, they're going through all this emotional thing, and the challenge is this infighting and stuff. Because we have the government taking a hard stance and crack down on it, and they're just looking for some light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh, of course.
It's going to, the mask is going to come off, and it's not looking good for the government of China with what they're doing. I think it's going to cause a big backlash with the people when this is over and done with.
I think so.
I almost think it needs to happen.
Yeah.
I get the sense, because they don't uprise very often. They're not a very rebellious people, but I think this almost needs to happen to have a change of regime.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because I think we can all agree, and obviously, as we know, all life is precious and stuff like that. But when authorities start literally smashing people's pets to death because they're worried that somehow someone's dog or cat is going to go and infect, a nation, a city of 25 million people who have been under lockdown. They're putting paper over little paper things so they can. Do you know, in a way, that's almost like a form of magic, an old school form of like where spells would be done on bits of paper, and it's like because once that seal is broken, that person has left the house and all the consequences and all that stuff, and it's just too much. It's become hysterical. The government has become hysterical. It's hysterical, drunk on the lockdown power. And also as well, Xi Jinping, another bit of astrological weather, he's got his Pluto, which can be the darkest things human do, very close to where Putin's Pluto is as well. But Putin's is the worst one. Then it's Xi Jinping, and the other person who comes next closest is Duck L'Orange, all in the same nakshatra. Just saying. Aslesha. So here, what the cards do I get? So if this is symbolizing Shanghai, the way I interpret this is Shanghai is the darling city of China. It is the most prosperous, successful, one of the most liberal, obviously after Hong Kong, which has obviously been brutally kind of subjectified. But this is like Shanghai, confident as a city, one of the, famous city in China, prosperous, affluent, doing well. They were doing well. But look at the obstacle, the Knight, the Knight of Pentacles. Sorry, I forgot to say that's the Three of Cups. So the Knight of Pentacles, which is what? The slowest moving card in the deck, come as the obstacle position. They've literally been what? Locked up inside. But also as well, the Knight of Pentacles can also refer to mercenaries. Now, this isn't law people, but we've seen those people in the hazmat suits doing war, attacking people as people shouting from the windows, I'm starving. And they're literally raiding shops, you know, just to live. It's just terrible. It's just terrible. The next card, Page of Wands. So, of course, this is about speaking. I mean, all pages deal with messages, but the Page of Wands can be about the eloquent speaker. And there was actually a man that was shouting in the street saying, where is the Chinese Republic, party? Where are they? They're supposed to be looking after us. And people were trying to shush him, but he wouldn't. And they even had drones flying outside of people's windows saying, calm down, suppress your desire to be free.
Yes, I heard that. And those robot dogs are so creepy.
They've got the robot dogs now?
Yes, the robot dogs that are patrolling the streets.
Those are creepy.
It's so terrifying to
are they those, like. Is it like the Boston Dynamics one? Is it those?
Kind of like that, yeah. It looks like that.
Gosh. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I think, though, things are going to change. We've got the Chariot here rushing forward. And then here we've got decisions being made, speculation. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, I think this is the will, in many ways, of the Chinese people themselves. They want to get out. They want to move on with their lives. They want to be able to what? Travel. Yeah. Travel again. Be free, move around. So I think the cards are quite clear, but it's just so brutal. I mean, it's killing pets as well. Like, wow. Wow. My goodness. Okay, so time is rushing on. Now, I would like to do a little follow-up, which is Shakespeare, a quick Shakespeare says on Trump Jr., because in my last show, I forgot. So here's the book. And Ganga, how about, would you like to tell me when to stop, and then we'll read what the bard said? Okay. All right, so tell me when to stop.
Stop.
All right. Oh, okay. This is what the bard has to say. Yeah, that's what the bard has to say. This is quite harsh. An evil soul producing holy witness is like a villain with a smiling cheek, a goodly apple rotten to the heart.
Can't argue with that.
That's from The Merchant of Venice. So I'll read that once more.
Agreed.
An evil soul producing holy witness is like a villain with a smiling cheek, a goodly apple rotten to the heart. Wow. That's what the bard has to say about Trump Jr., everyone. I think he's going to be thrown under the bus, by the way. I think he's going to be thrown under the bus. Yeah, I think he's just, they're going to throw him under the bus. Okay, so next question. So this is coming from Linda Kingsley. And we can do this as main question. Then, of course, there's a one card pull as well. So when will Putin be replaced? And will it end the war? So let's read on, will Putin be replaced? And if so, will it end the war? And we can do a one card pull on that. Will Putin be replaced? Oh, jumping cards. Oh, look at that. That one just jumped out. Will Putin be replaced? And if anyone is pulling cards with us, please do get your tarot decks out. Many people have told me that they pull at the same time that we do. So it'd be interesting, guys. If anyone's pulling, tell us what you get. Will Putin be replaced? Will Putin be replaced? Will Putin be replaced?
Okay, so I'm going to say my cards are leading towards a yes. Sure. There's a lot of infighting. I think, the powers that be, all those people that are around Putin, they're trying to figure it out. you know, should we put in this person? Should we put in that person? How should we take him out? How should all of this be done? And, you know, they're bickering, they're arguing, they're going back and forth.
Mhm.
Oh, that's 5 of Wands. And then another 5 of Swords, you know, so 5s are all about change, right? So there we have it. A ruthless battle, an abuse of power. So this is the obstacle. And, you know, and I do think Putin is going to be left asking, was it worth it? Because he's going to end up losing it all, is what I am seeing. His hands are tied. 8 of Swords.
Look
His
at
hands
that.
are tied. There is no place he's going to run to. But Russia does move forward. Here's the Chariot. You know, people do take control. They move forward. And here's the new King of Wands.
Ah.
So somebody that has maybe more passion for the country. Somebody who really loves Russia will be the next one. So yeah, I would say yes. And it'll be a good thing.
Yeah. Well, what I have in the center of it, the King of Cups, we have Biden. And what does Biden say? He needs to be gone. And
Yes.
the foundation, everything he's gotten away with, all the lies and stuff that
There
he's
he
done.
is.
There's our little Russian friend.
Yep.
Mhm.
And above it, there's a victory with that. So he's having to go away because of all of the, again, the lies and the spin he's put out. We have new government that is coming in. So, yeah.
Wow. Fascinating, isn't it? And so again, similar different cards, but the message is very similar. My goodness, and we're almost at 1,000 people, by the way. Can you believe it? So thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate you being here. So here we are, Knight of Swords rushing forwards because it was like, will he be replaced? So a lot of people want to see this guy gone. Yeah. A lot of people want to see him gone. Did you hear as well that he did a massive clear out of all of his back allies and stuff? He got rid of over 100 people, apparently. Who knows what has happened to those people? But there we are. Wow. So things are moving forward, but maybe not in a way that he would necessarily like, because, pardon me, the obstacle card here is the 3 of Pentacles, which is feeling like again, if we were to reverse this, this is what? A lack of community, not feeling supported. He's literally run forward and done a huge clear out of people because he's paranoid about what people are discussing. What could they be collaborating on? Are they trying to unseat him? These could be his generals as well. This is also could be this new wicked and very cruel general who he's made the head of everything. But this is also the situation moving forward, maybe out of his control. But look, the false knight comes forward for Putinshka. Yeah, because here, so this is, in many ways, I think this is Putin almost feeling betrayed by these people. Yeah, he feels betrayed by, look, his generals and the back office team. And he feels like they've been colluding against him, because remember, there was the guy, that general who's vanished with heart problems. We've not heard from him since. Yeah, where is he? So I think Putin felt like these were false knights, that they'd seduced him with their viewpoint. And you know what? Maybe this is true, because you remember they said, we don't think Putin's getting the accurate information given to him. Yeah, these are people coming to him, telling him sweet nothings. But it's almost like the false knights. It wasn't what it was cracked up to be. Now he's trying to get some balance into things, isn't he? Because he's like, oh my God, this is a disaster. Yeah, he can never admit it, of course, on camera.
No.
But this is a catastrophe, you know, as they say. Oh, just over 1,000 of you now. Thank you, guys. With the Temperance card. And this is Putin here. He's going to try to hold on with all his might. Yeah, he's like, no, you're not going to get rid of me. But I don't think it's going to work in the long term. I think there's too much momentum and too much energy, people that want to basically get rid of him. Right. Shall we do a one card pull for the second part of the question, which is, if Putin's gone, will it end the war? I imagine it would, but let's just pull and see what the cards say if we have one each. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We really appreciate it. It's really great. And as the ladies shuffle, I will put up some. Let's see there. Laura Lee Taylor saying, my husband and I watch you all the time. Enjoy your show. Thank you. All right, I'll
So I get the Judgment card. So yeah, I mean, I think Judgment will be passed. You know, after he's, you know, if he, well, I mean, I can't say if he's going. I don't feel like I can say if he's going. He's going.
Yes.
But you know, the other meaning of the Judgment card is rebirth and revitalization. So I think that's what they're in for. So yeah, it would end. It would end the war.
I agree, because we've got so much losses. They've just lost so much. They're looking at what they have remaining, and I think they're feeling like we've had more losses than gains. And so I think that would absolutely put an end to it as well.
And I've got a Major Arcana card. Now, this is a card that all of us are very familiar with, but whenever I see this card, I associate it with Russia, Mother Russia. So quite literally. So, but this, I think, in a way, echoing your card, Diane, in the sense of what a rebirth potentially for what? Mother Russia. Yeah, after the losses, as Ganga's cards show. Because look, we all know this is going south. It doesn't. I'm not going to say it doesn't matter what he does, but there are less and less options for Putin. And I think when all of this comes out, Russia's going to want to rehabilitate itself, grow itself, and just kind of move beyond. Because as we've been seeing, you remember whenever we've pulled for Russia, we've been getting what the Five of Pentacles has come up each time. Poverty, loss of standing. Yes, of course, they're still getting the oil money, and yes, the ruble has come back up a bit, but it's not the point. They're not even going to be able to fly the planes that they refuse to give back because the parts run down. So what are they going to do? You know, the domestic fleet is going to be grounded. We just had a donation come in. Thank you very much, Christopher. So this, in a way, the removal of Putin is Russia's only chance. That's the way I see it. Until he's gone, and that's what the planets, when I was tuning in, they said only death will free us from him, unfortunately. Or, you know, being in prison. We're not calling for that. You know what I mean, guys.
Yeah, right.
But he's so extreme. It's either going to be he has to be put in a padded cell for years and years and years, or something transpires where the world is relieved of him. Let's put it that way. So very interesting. Well, we've almost up to an hour. Is there anything, ladies, that you would like to have us pull cards on, or if anyone in the comments wants to add something? We've got just enough time to maybe kind of read one more question. Anything that comes to mind that you've been thinking about that we could just pull on? Or I've just had an idea. Lady G, you were talking about King Henry VIII. He came to you and you said that he's not moved on. Like, this guy died so many hundreds of years ago. Shall we pull some cards as to see why he's still here? Yeah, let's pull some cards on that. Why is King Henry VIII still trapped on the earth plane? King Henry VIII. Henry. Why are you still here?
Oh my gosh. Oh wow. Okay.
Wow, what have you got?
Did not expect the cards to be quite this succinct. So I guess he's envisioning himself as the King of Swords. You know, not necessarily the king I would have picked for him. Even though the King of Swords can be cruel for sure. But okay, I mean, yeah, the King of Swords is kind of cold and whatnot. All right, but look at what the obstacle is. It's like he's in denial. Like, no, I'm not really dead. Then, you know, he sees himself as the emperor.
As the emperor.
He's the emperor. He's not letting go of that status. And then the last card I picked was the card of disillusionment, the Seven of Cups.
Wow.
He is not in his right mind. He's still disillusioned, thinking
He still thinks he's king.
He's the king. You know, and death is just merely an obstacle.
Wow.
How bizarre. No, I did not expect that.
That is brilliant. That is brilliant. Lady G, what do you have? That just sums it up.
Right?
Well, Reedy is total narcissist and blames everybody. And, you know, even heaven should bow to him because he's king. I mean, you know,
Wow.
that was the energy. Yeah. So anyway, he's really out in the cold with things because of what he was giving out, the way he was doing it. So that things happen rapidly. This is usually my card for Trump. It's that card of, for me, many times the narcissist. And he was absolutely the narcissist, and his challenge was victory. He never had a son, you know.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
He never had the son. And so he is just, you know, still out there putting that energy out and totally, you know, the hidden things. He's just stuck. And he's just railing. If you hear that one, you know, when I did the channeling, you'll hear him railing about having a son. Just
interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I thought it's interesting that Page of Wands as well could be, look, a male child as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he did have one boy, but he died.
He died.
Yeah.
I think he was like 10 when he died. Oh, no, something like that. But he didn't reach adulthood.
Right.
Wow.
And Anne Boleyn birthed a dead son. She did have a son, but it was born dead. Yeah.
Wow. My goodness. Okay, so these are the cards, and this for me is quite a funny one because obviously, you know, I'm British. I was born in Britain. We were raised with this stuff. Tower of London. You know, I mean, where would period drama be in the UK without kings and queens and all that kind of stuff? And we all know if you're an actress, you know, and you want to win an Oscar, then you need to play. You know, you play a UK queen and you get there. It just happens every time. Doesn't matter what background you're from. And I said actress because obviously, you know, we have like kings or queens of England. Anyway, he doesn't like his options. So there he is in the afterworld. He's literally sitting there under, you know, probably outside of Hampton Court Palace. You know, his old haunt just being like, I don't like this. Why is no one paying any attention to me? Can't anybody see me? Doesn't anybody know who I am? Yeah, he's feeling like this is him kind of reflecting, but feeling ignored, not liking his options. You know, the angels are like, Henry, it's been 500 years. Are you ready now, darling? You know, and he's like, no. Look, he's heartbroken. Yeah, he's heartbroken about being dead. He's really annoyed. You know, he's like, no, I can't believe it. Where is my power? He wants to rush back and charge and be the old king he was, telling everyone what to do and everyone fearing him and all that kind of stuff. He'd like to reincarnate so he can have a happy family again. He's like, if I was only given a second chance. If only if only I hadn't married my brother's wife.
Right.
Because let's not forget that his first wife, which was the Spanish Spanish princess, Catherine of Aragon, was his brother's wife, but the brother died. And back then, the duty was that the brother would then marry the wife. And he always felt that they were cursed, that he could never get that happy family, isn't it? So here he is.
He was saying, she's old. She was old. He just kept saying, she's old.
Wow. Sounds a bit like Trump, isn't it? So here he is. He's in limbo. He's literally in limbo. So because if we look here, we know he's juggling money overseas, but this is a person who's passed, so he's in limbo. He doesn't want to let go. He doesn't want to let go. So Henry, go to the light, Henry. Go to the light. It's time.
Exactly. Yeah, no, he's still stewing in that whole thing.
Extraordinary, isn't it? So there we are. Look at that. The time has flown, everyone. We just had a donation come in as well. Bronx Sage, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. That went really quick. That was so interesting with Henry VIII. We should do more like that, actually. I think we should do more of those, where we just read on these characters that come through to see really what's going on, because the cards were saying the same things. So thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. Over 1,000 of you, which is wonderful. Thank you, Diane, for sharing your skills and talents. And of course, thank you, Lady G, as well, for sharing your skills and talents. And we will see, on the 30th, when is your ball? Is it next week? I think it's next week, isn't it, Diane?
No, the week after, the last week in April.
So I'm going to be traveling on the 19th. So I'll have to see how it goes. But the next HoDiGa could be from Spain. But I'm going to converse with you guys in the week, because, we chat, when we're not here. And I'll converse with you to see if everything's all good to put on the show for next week. So thank you, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed that. I found that fascinating about King Henry VIII. But time to go, Henry. Time to go. Goodbye.
Please move forward.
Exactly. Move on. All right. See you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.